This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where you bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
In compliance, the value of anonymous reporting is undeniable. But with Ethico, anonymity doesn't mean a loss of connection. Our blinded, two-way communication fosters an environment of trust and confidentiality, encouraging open and honest dialogue. It's not just about receiving reports. It's about understanding the story behind each one, creating a culture of integrity and respect. Transform your approach to anonymous reporting with Ethico. Begin your journey at ethico.com/CPN, where you can book a demo, access an exclusive white paper by Tom Fox titled The ROI of Compliance, and utilize our free ROI calculator.
Today on the Compliance Tip of the Day, we look at your selection of investigative counsel. A key component of a fair and objective evaluation is who should do your investigation. There are three reasons for a company to retain independent counsel. First, perception is reality. This means for any compliance program to be effective, it must be perceived to be fair. If your employees do not believe the investigation is fair, then it is not fair. Second, if your regular outside counsel investigates their own prior legal work or legal advice, a very large and potentially messy number of loyalty and privileges issues could arise in the internal investigation. It is a rare legal investigation where the lawyer or law firm which provided the legal advice and then investigates anything having to do with that legal advice finds anything wrong with it. And the third reason is the relationship of outside counsel, or rather regular counsel, with the regulatory authorities. If your company's regular outside counsel performs the internal investigation and the results turn out favorably for the company, the regulator, whether it's the Department of Justice or the Securities and Exchange Commission, may ask if the investigation was a whitewash or, at the very least, less than robust. If the regulators cannot rely on a company's own internal investigation, it may perform the investigation all over again with its own personnel. Further, these regulators believe that the company, its law firm, may have engaged in a cover-up. This is certainly not a way to buy credibility. The use of investigative counsel is one of the key initial decisions you have to make if information comes up which might lead to you concluding something needs to be done. And the most critical element from the regulatory perspective is going to be credibility. If you bring in outside counsel who you regularly use, this may hurt your credibility, but if you bring in special investigative counsel who know how to deal with the regulators, know what they're going to want, and know what they're going to ask for, this can help you build credibility with the regulators, which will be critical not only during the investigative process, but for any resolution which might come out from this. So think about who you're going to bring in as your investigative counsel. As you know, this month's sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, including this podcast, is Ethico. Have you ever wondered about the ROI of your compliance program or had concerns with presenting budget proposals to your CFO? Well, I partnered with Ethico to write a white paper on the ROI of compliance and how you can think through compliance as an investment strategy. Ethico has put together a ROI calculator for you. Check them out on the website. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.